Hi, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Fantasy People, and tonight here on Talking with Fantasy People, I am inviting you to experience what can only be deemed a firestorm of Fantasticos. How many Fantasticos does it take to comprise a firestorm? A whole lot. That's how many. How many Fantasticos, therefore, are you going to get here? Multiple. Many, and multiple Fantasticos. Fantasticos of all sorts. My concern, of course, my natural concern, my native concern, my Smokey Bear style concern is that somehow the word firestorm is going to hurt me in YouTube's eyes. But I'm hopeful that no, indeed, a firestorm of Fantasticos is an acceptable kind of firestorm, given that it involves neither flame nor heat nor smoke, nor the burning of things. Please clap. Am I too quiet or something? Do I need to be louder? I've been quiet ever since your mom's face. Hi, Legends Fall. What is up indeed? What is up indeed? Let's get this party started. Okay, well, maybe if you and Legends Fall start dancing, everyone else will start dancing and join in. It's like they said in Ghostbusters. I remember when Rick Moranis suggested that he and that dumb blonde girl in Ghostbusters begin dancing to set the precedent so that others join in. Let me tell you something, everyone. I just had a very interesting typing session. Very interesting indeed. And I suspect that my typing of this girl tomorrow morning when it publishes is going to be highly controversial. Are you ready for some high controversy? Boy, it is going to be controversial tomorrow at the end of that typing session when I say what type she is, and people are going to go, she's not that type. Manity, meow. But what about manity, meow? And what about manity, mew? You know? Thanks, Winston's mom. Yeah, I wasn't sure how old she was exactly. And at the end, after I stopped recording, I said, okay, how old are you? Because she wasn't 18, I wasn't going to put it up. I realized like partway through that she's pretty young, you know, and I wasn't sure at that point if she was 18 or not. Anyway, she is, but she's 18, so it's, you know, close enough, you might say, that it's worth the extra precautionary measures. Anyway, regardless of all that, it was a very interesting typing session, and it's going to produce a lot of controversy. What are my deepest fears in life? We're running out of time before I accomplish anything meaningful, I guess. Like maybe I guess maybe obviously the very serious matter of my daughter's well-being. I would very much hate for my daughter to encounter any harm of any sort. That's a fear of mine. When she was little, it was certainly my number one fear. As they get older, you get a little bit less active in thinking about them, you know. I don't really think about July all that often until something prompts me to think about her, like this does right now. Actor Pierce, I probably don't think you're Cloud. I don't really know, but I don't think you're Cloud. But you'll probably hear that because every time somebody seems adversarial at all, even some of the time, they tend to be, is that Cloud? Where it's just not really fair or appropriate, I guess you could say. But happens. If you consider the idea of this archetype, we certainly see more than a few tricksters appear here. I found out Delilah is considered a name for a trickster archetype. You know, what's interesting is Rachel and I found the name for Delilah's tri-type and the description for it. You know, there's one place, there's one thread on Personality Cafe that has names for all the permutations of the Enneagrams. So it's like it differentiates between 748, 847, 784, 487, you know, and give each of them its own name. Probably that was what motivated people for thinking that you're Cloud. Yes. I mean, Cloud likes to provoke along certain vectors. So if you say something that's potentially provocative along those same vectors, you're likely to be at least suspected of being Cloud. Like I said, is it yeah? Yeah, sure. I'll try to find it. What I did to find it last time, if I remember correctly, is I Googled 748 tri-type curve surfer, and let me put curve surfer in quotes. This one. There is a great match. It's just there's one great match. Google says there aren't many great matches, but I don't need many great matches because I'm looking for something specific. So it's fine. The 162 tri-types summarized, or in other words, the subname for each of the 162 types. How many advice are talking on radical feminists? Well, I'm presuming, Actor Pierce, that you're saying people who make arguments that are demonizing men. So, you know, that sort of thing. It's a matter of just reminding them that, to the extent that, I mean, okay, the way I would approach it is to frame your own individualism or your promotion of the individual's well-being and the individual's rights over identity stuff. In other words, it's unfair to confer onto a woman limitations simply because she's a woman. And that rule applies reciprocally. So it's unfair, therefore, to confer constraints on the man. Now, on the other hand, you have a choice, feminist. You can instead decide to prefer to confer constraints, in which case that means you're in favor of men making lots of laws about women's bodies. You don't want to be in favor of that, do you? So you oppose constraints then. You oppose that kind of constraint where we insist individuals be treated as an identity that you confer upon them rather than as things in and of themselves. Now, is that going to work? No, probably not. They're probably TI polar. They probably just get stupid about it and emotional and whatever, and you're going to be frustrated. And, you might as well just go completely the same way on her and say, or I mean, you could try this. Oh my God, you are so aggressive and hurting my feelings right now. I can't believe the kind of ontological violence you're doing against me. Seriously. You need to step back and evaluate your colonial imperialist ways. You could try to turn it like that. You could claim to be more transgender than they are, and therefore more marginalized, and therefore the only one who can speak about the matter. You could try to turn that shit on them. For example, in those kinds of conversations, I find that it really helps that I am transracial. So that really does come in handy in these kind of conversations. I say, listen, as a transracial American, I understand better than anybody what it means to be marginalized. There are only a few of us. And it means I have to experience the kind of disenfranchisement and the kind of marginalization that every race experiences. It's cumulative too. Okay? So if you think that African Americans are oppressed, I have that much oppression experienced. If you think Asians are oppressed, I've also experienced that much oppression, and it is again cumulative. If you think Latinos are oppressed, I've experienced that much oppression. So I have the amount of oppression against me is equal to the total of the amount of oppression against all other groups combined. Okay, I'm also transgender, moving from extremely manly to sort of womanly and back again. So I experienced the oppression of the transgender as well. I'm also transageal. So I experienced the kind of disenfranchisement that the elderly undergo and the kind of disenfranchisement that children undergo. And I'm abused accordingly by all parties. Now, I will concede I am heterosexual. However, I make a lot of jokes about being homosexual, which means I'm bi-curious, namely curious about both kinds of sexuality and a third kind that's as of yet unnamed. So that makes me the most disenfranchised person in history. Way, way, way more disenfranchised than you. And therefore, what I say is fundamentally more legitimate. So you can just talk to the hand because the face ain't listening no more. Okay? That's what you do. You tell them that. What are they going to say? No, you're not. You're not disenfranchised. You're not transracial. Are you trying to tell me what race I am? You want me to tell you what race you are? God, that's ontologically imperialistic of you. Stop colonizing my being with your bullshit, please. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you do with any kind of race critique, gender critique, or whatever, disability critique, or whatever. In debate, I always tell my kids, if that's the criterion they want to judge on, then you insist you're more that whatever it is than they are. And sometimes debaters will try to run this. I had to ride the bus, K, which is like, I'm African American. We had to ride the bus here, and my opponents drove a fancy car here, rode in a fancy car, so you should vote for me. People genuinely try to run this shit. It's hilarious because it's just a strategy. It's not like people believe it, you know. Anyway, you just say, you rode the bus here. I had to crawl here. I was brought here on a donkey-drawn cart on top of weevil-filled hay bales. The whole time being bitten by these weevils. Before I was allowed to come into the tournament, I had to do 6 hours of farm labor. Then I got to ride in the cart. And my dad dropped me off, and I wiped off some of the hay from my suit and tie, which I had to borrow from a neighbor because I'm so fucking poor. Okay? Meanwhile, I haven't had anything to eat in 4 days. I am literally starving to death, and yet still I'm here competing against you at the tournament. So if, in fact, the most disenfranchised person should win this round, that person is me. Okay, Winston's mom, I get it, but listen to me. Just hear it in your ears, okay? Firestorm of Fantasticos. I mean, You want me to sacrifice truth and beauty in the name of success. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. What a great title. Firestorm of Fantasticos? Are you kidding me? Are you complaining about that beautiful, elegant title? When's the last time you've been in anything other than maybe a small grease fire's worth of Fantasticos? This promises you a whole firestorm's worth of Fantasticos. Well, I mean, Hector Pierce. Is it a title you've seen before? Have you seen this? Have you seen another live stream titled this? I mean, one thing that I try to promise to people coming to this channel is that they're not going to see the same old titles again, like 25 top moments in my penis's history or something. No, around here, we have wonderful titles, wonderful, wonderful titles. Things like Firestorm of Fantasticos. What are Fantasticos? Things that are fantastic, of course. Fantastic moments like this one right now. Hector Pierce, I want to explain something to you right now. This exchange between you and me, this moment of true and deep bonding, this comprises a major Fantastico in both of our lives. You can hang this one on the wall next to your honorary mention certificate from your 4th grade track and field competition. You think my Annie is too much in charge, validating the merits of all my titles on novelty. Hey, it's not just novelty Legends fault. It's also just the nice, pleasurable sound of it. Firestorm of Fantasticos. Doesn't that just settle right into your bones and say, I'm a nice title? Yes, it does. It's not just validating on NE grounds, it's validating on NI grounds as well. It's also validating on TI grounds because this does provide you a literal firestorm of Fantasticos. A literal one, not a figurative one, not a metaphorical one. You can see the flames of Fantasticos licking about me right now as I speak. I could change the title right now, The Host Eric Podcast, episode 122. That's a terrible title, Hector Pierce. Gosh, everybody knows that's a terrible title. Tonight there was a firestorm of Fantasticos. When the Fantasticos found out, they fired, furred, and forked each and every one of those Fantasticos. I was going to ask you if you think this song is SE. What song is it? Do 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 do. Terrible title. Oh, Johnny Be Good. I don't know. What are some of the lyrics to it? Does it instruct Johnny to be good, or is it more of a descriptive matter of evaluating Johnny's goodness without necessarily taking a stance on it? Dewdrops keep falling on your head. Perhaps you should stop standing beneath dew-producing things. What's it, Mom? What producer of dew do you have at your house that you keep standing beneath? Starts off with a flashy blues riff. I see. And in the end, do we determine that he is in fact good, or is it left undecided? Is the fact that it's not spelled G-O-O-D mean that we aren't to imagine that it's an instruction to him to be good? Missile-dew, you better watch out. Getting a bunch of missile-dew on you means you're guaranteed to encounter random people coming up and kissing you in the world. Everyone can smell missile-dew from a mile away. The machinations of my mind are an enigma. I don't say that about my own mind. The machinations of my mind are clear as a clear blue sky, free from clouds and anything else that might diminish the clarity of his clearness. If you want to talk about transparency, clarity, clearness, concision, and certainty, well, that's what I provide here on Talking with Famous People. A singularity of purpose, of topic, a refusal to dance about to the whims of the chats, responding to this or that in turn. No, I bring a fortitude and a certainty, a clear path that I follow relentlessly, without exception, from the beginning to the end of each live stream. That's why there is nothing but a Firestorm of Fantasticos comprising this live stream today. And Mountain Dew. I did promise free Mountain Dew. Metaphorical Mountain Dew, of course. As a licensed metaphysician, I am able to conjure metaphorical Mountain Dew and transubstantiated. Why don't the links work? What links? The link between me and your mom's face? Well, that's not for you to play with, Hector. That's for me and your mom. Yes, the title is stealthily a call to action for the viewers who produce a Firestorm of Fantasticos. Here I am doing all the work, providing 90% of the Fantasticos until Hamon comes along and acknowledges and thereby contributes to the Fantastico production. Do I get paid for being a metaphysician? I do. I get metaphorical dollars, metaphysical dollars, figurative dollars, and imaginary dollars. I get all 4 different kinds of dollars. I think that's all the kind of dollars there are. There may be one more kind that I'm not getting. I'm not sure. But if I get 4 out of 5 kinds, it's probably pretty good. Quit dog whistling, you guys. Everybody quit dog whistling right now. I am so sick of dog whistling. It's like the other day, Alex Rodriguez was here. I said, hey, is that name a dog whistle? And he said, what do you mean? I said, in nazy eyes. He said no, and I said, okay. I don't know. Supposedly me. I'm dog whistling, apparently. I didn't even know what the term meant until I made a video about it. I'm not promoting domestic terrorism, no. I'm opposed to domestic terrorism. I'm even opposed to international terrorism. So, that's pretty good. That's pretty good of me. I'm a pretty good person. I remind me of Gandhi sometimes, a lot of the time, when I'm not reminding me of Mother Teresa, both of whom were firmly opposed to both domestic and international terrorism. The other person I remind me of is Martin Luther King Jr., except without the cheating. He was a philanderer, right? When you are 60, your brain will be as sharp as ever. You will make sure of it. How will you make sure of it? Are you going to get a brain sharpening stone? Thanks, Jeff Shaw. I appreciate your affirming the goodness of my personhood. Teresa was evil as fuck, really? She's got such a reputation as being a good lady. I guess that, PR can be deceiving, maybe. Maybe we've all bought into some false PR about her. Maybe we've all been told some lies about Mother Teresa being such a paragon of virtue. Mahatma Gandhi said, I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. It's good policy. What about with their clean feet? Then it's fine. Let's see. Mountain Dew me. That is an interesting t-shirt. I believe it's spelled MOUNTAINDEW, which is significantly different in meaning than the way you've spelled it there, Sean O'Neill. What you've done is shared a ribald pun. And I believe we've all discussed the importance of limiting ribaldry around here, minimizing the ribald. Most people lose brain cells and neuroplasticity because they don't take care of their brains. I'll always drink lots of water and induce meditative comas, and my brain will grow to 35% its normal volume. Wow. Too bad your skull won't expand to accommodate it. Unfortunately, that's going to kill you. Ah, well. Whatever. Well, I mean, maybe he will after his brain grows 35%, his normal volume. Plastic surgery. So, like skull enlargement surgery. I don't think that would qualify as plastic surgery because it would be necessary to save your life. So it would be, um, regular surgery. Just sprinkle some bone meal. That's a good idea. Oh, Hector, you are many moons from getting arranged. But if anyone does manage to walk through my line within 30 feet, then I will respond by unleashing nuclear hellfire on them and all they hold dear. Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's always been kind of like that. He said, peace, peace, love, love. If I don't eat soon, I'm going to kill someone. Because nobody likes to fast. Gandhi was a creeper. Mother Teresa was remarkably wicked. Wow. Yeah, it's increasingly clear to me that that's certainly a possibility. So I want to know about Gandhi being a creeper. You know who was definitely somebody who we should all wag our proverbial fingers at, a historical figure who should we wag our fingers at? Gauguin, the painter Gauguin. He painted all those naked Tahitian girls, He also gave them all syphilis. They were like 15, 16 years old. And, pretty awful human being. So, if you're a big fan of Gauguin, then I would suggest that that you probably don't think it's important to evaluate the artist when evaluating their art, which is, in my opinion, a perfectly reasonable position. I don't know him. I'm assuming it was, and probably consistent with their cultural norms at the time in Tahiti. Was it acceptable if he knew he had syphilis? No. And I'm assuming he did know, but I could be wrong about that. I mean, I know it's not one of the 10 commandments, but don't give teenage girls syphilis seems like a reasonable moral prohibition. If you're gonna be very specific and you're listing moral prohibitions, unnecessarily specific, you're gonna craft your list of moral prohibitions to specifically preclude Gauguin, then there you go. That's how you do it. That's just how you do it. Not until you can do this dance with 50 Eagle. Not until you can take the pebble from my hand. I bet you do. Oh, because you haven't completed the quest that you have to complete. Big quest. Why you haven't completed the quest? You have a quest to do first. First quest is you have to slay Kim Jong-un. That's shorter. Your energy is being drained by trolls. That's shorter live streams. They literally feed off your energy to turn energy vampires. I mean, I don't. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. It really depends on my mood, Grass Eater. Like earlier, I was in kind of a bad mood. And now I'm in a better mood. I'm happy to discuss other matters. Sometimes there's not a lot going on in the chat to respond to, except for people who are being playful, quote unquote. Let's all play. Bruh, Kim Jong-un was just in your dream. I had a weird dream last night that my car was stolen and replaced by another car. It was like a cool vintage, like Mercedes or something. I don't know. And I was like, I don't understand this. Because like my car had been stolen, but I had been replaced by the other car, but there's also other like fancy vintage cars on the street. That's about it for the dream. But anyways, I wonder what it means. I wonder what imagery and or collective unconscious thing and meh it means if you dream that your car gets stolen and replaced with another car. Alex Rodriguez posits that it means I want a new car. He was being interviewed on a talk show, and someone in the audience said something lightly antagonistic, and Kim frowned, but the audience laughed. Interesting. She tied them down, asked them to trust in Jesus, and let them die. Oh, you mean Mother Teresa? Wow. That sounds kind of horrible. Eric, how is one of these statements logical and the other fallacious? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing, or you're with us or against us. Well, I mean, I don't think either of them are either logical or fallacious. I think that they're both, Edmund Burke is trying to make a point about the need to respond to evil by confronting it and not simply avoiding or withdrawing. And the second thing is from the perspective of somebody who's taking a very controversial stance on something, and for whom that stance is totalizing, then they may try to demand that kind of dichotomy from people, and you may think about it whatever you may think about it. You might say, well, it's not true that I'm with you or against you. There could be a third option. So, okay, in that regard, it's a false dichotomy. The first one, I guess, it follows naturally that if there's no effort, there's no countervailing. There's no countervailing. I don't know. There's no effort across to the other direction that are given negative or ill-intentioned set of actions would go unopposed, and then they would proceed forward to accomplish their ends. It sort of makes natural, intuitive sense that would be the case, I guess. So Rachel's done a little something. She's trimmed her hair slightly to make this was a little bit different than it used to be. Just slightly different.
Just slightly. I wonder
if you're what?
If it's my hair. Hi guys.
Oh yeah, you're against the green.
Yeah.
So Rachel has blue hair now.
Blue hair.
As you can see. I will show you by putting up this behind you so that you can see the blue better rather than against the green. She smells like hair dye right now.
Do I?
Yeah. It's kind of a chemical-y smell.
Yep. So I didn't go with the mint or the orange. Thank you, CJ.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more striking in person than it is on camera. Like on camera, it looks like a dull blue, or kind of a darker blue. In person, it looks much more turquoise.
Yeah, it is. That's what it's exactly supposed to be. So I'm happy about that. I'm so anime now. I feel anime too. Thanks, Running Fox. Thanks. Look at my hands. I obviously, was a little bit liberal with it.
Well, I can tell you for sure it's a different color in person than it is on the screen.
Yeah. It's definitely more green in person, I think. Like, it looks more, I don't know.
No, I'm not really interested in dyeing my beard.
No. I wanted to match him. I wanted to match his anus.
Mm-hmm. That's the same color as my anus.
Oh.
I need to eat something. I gotta start some food in the microwave.
Okay. Do you want me to do anything? Want me to start something up?
I mean, sure. If you want to do it, you can go into the main kitchen, just get whatever, like those fajitas or something out of the freezer and put them in the microwave for me in there.
Sure. The fajitas from
the freezer.
Our freezer?
No. My dad's freezer.
Okay. How long?
What does it say on the box? I certainly feel ill. I think it's partially because of the chemical smell of that hair dye. And I feel kind of, Oof. Yeah. It's been that color since birth. I was born with a periwinkle anus, they said. Imagine if everyone called you Elvis Presley even though he's dead. I would wonder why they called me Elvis Presley. I'm pretty convinced, Cloud, that you're a question mark at least. There's something the question mark said the other night that was just so textbook Cloud that I thought, okay, this guy's got to be Cloud. You were not question mark? Okay. You stand with Cloud, CJ? Okay. Well, I mean, if you are not those people, well, that's fine. It just means that we've got other people who have similar things that they say to you and similar approaches sometimes, Maybe people see to stop assuming the Cloud is everyone else you don't like. It's not so much that people don't like the people they think are Cloud. They see that the people who they say are Cloud are not engaging meaningfully with the ideas, but instead of being provocative in certain ways or just trying to stir the pot or something. It doesn't necessarily mean we don't like the individuals. It just means, oh yeah, it's naturally that color. It's the same color as Rachel's hair. In fact, I've had my whole life. What's happened is fashion designers have come to my house to look at my anus to get a clear understanding of the ideal blue for their products. Do you ever open a can of evaporated milk only to find it is a liquid and not a gas? It's troubled me at times. Jeff Shaw, you really have a good point there. A really good point. It does seem to be that when I open those cans, although it promises that the milk has been evaporated, as far as I can tell, it's still there. I don't know. Quick, Eric, go into your ESFP shadow. Oh, no, words down. Yeah, words down. Yeah, yeah. Is that good enough? That's all the That's all the man I have in me tonight for that. I'm probably gonna go to sleep in, I don't know, maybe an hour. I just need to eat right now. That's the thing. That's why I'm feeling yeah. Every time I feel sad or bad or mad or glad or had or Chad, it's usually because I'm hungry. I need to eat more foods, and then I need to feel better after that. The problem with me sometimes is I have too much coffee without enough other things that aren't coffee. It's important to consume other beverages, for example, besides just coffee. Beverages including Coca-Cola, grapefruit soda, Dr. Pepper, or as we like to call in the generic brand business, Dr. Dynamite. Oh, yeah. This is Dr. Dynamite. Apparently, it turns out you're an ENFP, not an ENTP. Your INTP friend told you so. Oh, well, what do you know? What color is your anus, Hector? That's my version of that book, What Color is Your Parachute? In my version, called What Color is Your Anus, we talk a lot about how your life choices, your ways, your means, your ends, your qualities, your quantities, your meh and your meh, all link to anus color. And how each of us has a unique color of anus, as unique as a snowflake, but that all of us fall into one of 7 anal categories. Either yellow, blue, red, green, purple, orange, black, white, or schma. Wait, Eric, FI means take me seriously, right? Sure. Would you like me to take you seriously? I am currently taking you seriously. How does it feel? You feel taken seriously? Or do you feel seriously taken? Is there a difference? Yes, there is. Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm cybexual. What does it mean to be cybexual? It's kind of like bisexual, but without the humping of guys. It gets all of the legitimacy of being bisexual without actually having the humping of guys. So it's a pretty good deal being cybexual. She asked me, do you care more about your words being logical or your ability to communicate your own feelings? That's the latter, so apparently that makes you FI or introverted feeling. Well, I mean, so far, Hector Pierce, I would say that things you say are more consistent with FI than TI. And puckered starfish or balloon knot? Fair enough. To pucker. There are a lot of things in the world that pucker. A good pucker is a prerequisite to a lot of things in life. What's the other word for pucker? Sphincter, right? The sphincter thing it's like, those things at the beach that you poke them and they go preet and they get all sphinctery. You know those things I'm talking about? Also, Venus flytraps are very sphinctery. What else is sphinctery in the world that's not a sphincter? I don't know. Mama says, "You digging for gold? Stop that. But my dirt star itches." That is some very southern, exciting southern words there. What is a word that rhymes with sphincter? Sphincter. Venus flytraps are very much not like sphincters in any way other than they can open and close. Well, they're kind of circular. Isn't that kind of like a Venus flytrap is kind of circular too. So that's another way in which they're kind of the same. Also, sphincters, like Venus flytraps, eat flies. That's another way that they're the same. So I think I'm winning this point. Okay. I think I am. Do you know, I can actually see from my anus, but unfortunately, the only thing I ever see is the inside of my pants. Or my underwear if I'm wearing them. Currently, I'm just wearing corduroys with no undergarment. Well, he's taken on the thankless job of being history's most hated man, Nobody else wanted the job. So he said, "Hey, I'll do it. I will be history's most hated man. And in order to do so, I will start a world war. I'll try to commit genocide, blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, everybody will think of me as the very definition of evil."
I do.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
And, anywho, so on that grounds, we can say, well, at least you're fulfilling a role that's necessary. And we got to have our universal boogeyman of some sort. And might as well be you. Your mustache was unattractive. We can all agree on that. Nobody likes that little mustache.
No. We're talking about the H-Man?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
And even Charlie Chaplin couldn't pull out that mustache.
No, he couldn't.
He was trying to be funny about it. It's like, you try to be serious with that mustache? Come the fuck on. Come on. Okay, Cloud, that kind of shit gets removed.
Morale.
That kind of nonsense is nonsense.
What happened?
Cloud's being a Holocaust denier. It's like, okay, we don't need that kind of nonsense. Now, Hector Pierce has got a good point. Mao's in the running. A lot of people in the running. Stalin. We could have Pol Pot up there. I mean, Pol Pot's no saint,
No.
How about
can we put Brutus?
Brutus?
Yeah.
From Popeye?
No. Well, yeah.
We could put him. How about Attila the Hun? How about Genghis Khan? Genghis Khan wasn't any good.
I know.
She's telling me that my daddy's so handsome. She's right.
What about the Marquis de Sade? He wasn't a very nice guy. How about Vlad the Impaler? Not one of the sweetest of history's fellows.
I read that Mussolini had a cardboard cutout of himself and placed it in a window so it looked like an outline of him. So it looked like he was working more than he actually was.
Well,
Doesn't sound
that's some good laziness.
Yeah.
King Leopold is an underrated, terrible tyrant. I'm sure King Leopold is terrible. If you want to combine the whole family into a triple generation threat, You might say the Uns represent one of history's most awful entities. You know,
The Uns.
yeah, the leaders of
Mm.
North Korea. They're in their third generation now,
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
going into their third and a half, because it looks like Kim Jong is kind of not well,
Really?
whereas his sister is kind of moving in to take more of a lead.
Interesting. How old is Kim Jong Un?
He's not that old, but you know, North Korea is not the healthiest place in the world to live.
Oh. I didn't
Just
know
saying.
that.
A lot of parasitic stuff going on. Anyhow,
Ooh, sorry to hear about that.
my thoughts on Caligula. Apparently a thoroughly awful person. He took over the Congo as his own personal property, enslaved virtually everyone there, cut off their hands. About 50% of the young men died. You're talking about Louis the 17th? Nero, not good. Leopold. Oh, it's the Kim family. Koreans put their family names first and their personal names last. Oh, okay, fine. The Kim family then. My bad. I guess that makes sense since they don't all end with Un, huh? It's Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, Kim Il something. Kim Il Suk, I guess. I've never even heard of King Leopold before. What was he the king of? Who was he the king of? A child, a child. Was he the king of child? Yum, 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 yum. Okay, let's see. Delphine Lalaurie? Who's Delphine Lalaurie? Is that a tyrant? I've never even heard of them. Oh, she was a New Orleans socialite and serial killer who tortured and murdered the slaves in her household. Wonderful. Her house was subsequently sacked by an outraged mob of New Orleans citizens. She possibly died in a boar hunting accident. Huh. Huh. Interesting. I had no idea. Well, it of course makes sense that when you have slavery, you have that kind of stuff. I'm really hungry. I need food right now. Don't dog whistle here. I don't think that anybody here is You're not disallowed from criticizing anybody, Cloud. Nobody said you're disallowed from criticizing anybody. You are engaged in Holocaust denial, which is
I put my hand.
What happened, baby?
I opened it up and then it burned me. Yeah, because you say I lick the film. Oh.
Let's get some aloe vera.
Oh, plant?
Yeah, right there. Right down here. No, it's not being fed by the trolls. I don't care. It is stupid, though.
Sorry about that. I wanted to do something nice and then I fucked it up.
It's okay, sweetie.
I'm going to bed.
Alright, have a nice night.
I love you.
Love you too.
I hope you have a
What happened? I asked Rachel to make me food. And she burned herself. And I felt Like, for Christ's sakes. But, that probably came through, and I'm sure it didn't make her feel any better. And, she feels totally useless because she wanted to just, be nice and make me something to eat, and couldn't successfully do that without burning herself. And so, it's like I'm in a situation where I should feel bad for her because she burned herself, but I feel somewhat annoyed because it's like, it's like, oh, come the fuck on, to a certain extent, But, bye, Cloud. Yeah, I know, Rennie Fox. I know. I didn't say anything of the sort. I just sighed. It's not lack of spatial awareness that annoys me. Her bad to eat doesn't annoy me. It's just sometimes I'm just hungry and I don't want to have to make it myself. I want her to just make me something, and it's not that simple. It should be, and it's not. Nothing for me to get mad at her about. It was just a frustrating moment, and Grass Eater's probably right. I was experiencing some frustrations linked to, nonsense going on in the chat with Cloud's stupid bullshit. Once again, Cloud has left forever. How many times is this now that Cloud has left forever? 6, 7? He's always leaving forever. If only forever lasted a little longer, just a bunch of stupid shit. I wasn't in the mood to hear. It's like, could Cloud complain that I just sort of timed him out for no reason right now? Yeah. But I was walking inside, I realized what Grass Eater was saying is somewhat true. It's it drains me of energy to have to fight. Yeah. So you are Cloud, Hector? Is that what you're saying? Your reaction to this is cringy and not great. I'm going to analyze that later. Your reaction to what? I don't know what you're reacting to. Well, she did that, and then we put aloe on it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the mood right now to go play Super Nurse. I told her to put some aloe on it. I held the flashlights that she could. She put the aloe on it. And what else are you gonna do? 15 years old, huh? Well, this may be a little too mature of a stream for you, mister. We talk about a lot of adult stuff around here. Things like an enlarged prostate, for example. That's an adult thing we talk about around here. Like sphincters. Mm-hmm. Arthritis. We spend a lot of time talking about arthritis around here. And our grandchildren. Mashed potatoes. I'm so racist against all the burnt racials in the world. I'm not racist. I am sympathetic, and I feel bad about how I responded. Could have been more warm or compassionate. Where's my mother? Will you stop with that whole thing? We put aloe on it, I said. She's fine. She opened the film on the microwave food too soon, and the steam burnt her. It's sort of. It's not the least annoying day in the world for Eric, but I don't. Overall, it's been a pretty good day, I guess. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I told her to put some aloe on it. She did. This fajitas are making me feel a little bit better. As usual, when I get frustrated, it's because I'm hungry. When I get upset or fussy or whatever, it's usually because I'm hungry. Yeah. Hi, Tiny Man 66. Remember to please be careful with your pumpkin starfish. Okay. Today is a day in which we are advocating that together en masse we protect our puckered starfishes from burns and other wounds of that sort. Well, Melanie, I'm sure she's fine. I think she was mostly upset at herself because she felt like she couldn't, like, sort of, I can't do anything right kind of thing. Because I don't ask very much. Very rarely do I ask her to do anything, like, at all. And so she offered to cook me something in the microwave. I was happy to accept the offer and looking forward to getting some food. And, being able to eat my food without worrying about anything else, like her injuring herself on the way. It was sad. It's sad for me because I feel bad because I was more irritated than I was compassionate. But, it's like, I was hungry. I mean, I didn't react badly. Right? I didn't yell at her or something, but, I could have reacted better. I could have been more compassionate. I know, baby. Don't even stress about it at all. How you feeling? You okay? Your burn okay? I can come and bring some more aloe or something to make you feel better. Would it make sense to try developing your polar to the point where it's not too problematic in your day to day? I mean, I think that's really a situational thing. I think my polar is safe in the current situation. So it doesn't cause me any problems. My polar caused me problems in my last relationship because it wasn't safe. The environment was antagonistic to my feelings. And I was ill-equipped to recognize that for what it was. I mean, I would say in response to that, Sean, that by and large, FI converts object on the metaphysical field into experience. But are you okay, Rachel? Is your burn okay? Does it still hurt a lot? Is there anything you want me to do? Or like bring you more aloe, or I don't know, do a little dance for you or something? This food is good. Thank you for making it. I appreciate you making me food. Sorry I wasn't more appreciative when you were done making it. Hi, David Sanderson. Yeah, a nose scarf is pretty important. If you want to be hip with the newest fashion, you need to put on a nose scarf. I'm not wearing one right now, but that's only because there's a general sort of well-known rule that you never wear a nose scarf when you're mourning someone else getting burned. Feelings are like thoughts you can't explain. Anyone know here how to play Dwarf Fortress? I tried it briefly and I gave up quickly. Rachel, you are doing just fine. Everything's fine. Next time, if in fact I ask you to microwave something else for me in the future, I will get it out of the microwave myself. Well, I dreamed I had my car stolen and replaced by a different car. Maybe our dreams are linked. Done. I am done. I am full. I can eat no more of this food here. Let let me tell you something. That is a spicy meatball. You know, spicy food is very much like drugs, and then it makes your scalp sweat. I think all drugs are born of spicy food in some way, maybe. Or certain kinds of drugs are, anyway. The spicy meatball. It makes me into an Italian. Mamma mia, this meatball is very spicy. You had a dream that you were on the run from Satan because you were pregnant with his baby and he wanted us back? I was pregnant with his baby, but he wanted us back. Satan chasing me all around. Goodbye, other self. I was pregnant with his baby and he wanted us back. But Satan was some kind of clown. Satan with his horns and his pitchfork too. Skin so red, what will you do? Satan, I don't know why I fucked you, but I'm pregnant with your baby and I'm on the run. If you don't want to find yourself with a really complicated family dynamic, don't get pregnant from Satan. Because if you do get pregnant from Satan, then you're going to have to deal with Satan's domineering and nosy mother is a terrible mother-in-law to have. You have to deal with Satan's har father, who's always with the har. You know, you don't want to deal with that stuff. Are you agnostic or atheist? Me, I'm neither. I'm a hot young co-ed. Call now. We will call now. Call now. We're waiting. I'm waiting for you to call now. Hello, party line. This is Terry. Me and my hot friends are waiting for you to call now. Hi. Hello, Terry. Yes, this is Terry. You indicated that you'd like me to call now? Yes, I'm calling now. Thank God. Let's see. I'm a theist. I am a Christian. Okay. New group. It's important to note the following. A Christian is slightly different than a Christian. A Christian is basically the same thing as a Christian, but with somebody who mispronounces their R's. Yeah, I know. Thank God I called now, right? Call now. We're waiting. We're hot young co-eds, and we are waiting for you to call now. Did you hear that, Bobby? You hear that? These young ladies, these co-eds, they're waiting for us to call now. They want us to call them and say hello. They want us to do it now. What do you think? We should call later? Okay, let's call later. Yeah, exactly. Call now if you appreciate young co-eds having a firestorm of Fantasticos in front of your face. Do I get angry when Rachel farts? No. She rarely, if ever, do I hear her do so. She farts a lot less than me. For every Rachel fart, there are at least 100 Eric farts. Theists believe that there was a literal snake that told a literal lady, literally named Eve, to eat a literal apple, and it literally revealed the truth about literal good and literal evil. Are you 100% sure that wasn't figurative, David Sanderson? It might have been figurative, though, right? It might have been what you said, but entirely figurative. Isn't that possible? In bed. Brandy and Muffy. Every theist is a Christian according to Sanderson, and all agree. Well, I'm a Christian, and I ascribe specifically, if asked, what comprises the sort of narratives of my Christianity. They would be the narratives of God giving his only son as a means of demonstrating, upholding, or setting the absolute value, the most absolute positive moral indication as a positive moral indication. What do you want to debate me about, David Sanderson? There is fuckery afoot. But, you know, the fact that I ascribe to those elements of Christianity doesn't necessarily mean I affirm them as arguments. Those are different things. And also, it's really hard to debate with your mom's face on my dick. So there's that too. Well, duh, David Sanderson. Of course it's flat. It's flat and round, square and triangular. It's all of those things. Depends on where you look. It really depends on where you look. You want me to affirm that the earth is flat and you're going to negate? Okay. Here we go. The earth is an artificial construct, okay? There's no singular earth. We each experience slivers of the earth at any given time, and any given sliver of the earth is flat. Since the slivers of the earth are flat and the earth is comprised of slivers, the earth thereby might be said to be flat. Now, you can also note that when looked at from outer space from a long distance away, it looks like a flat circle. So from that perspective, it's definitely flat. When we model it, simply by drawing circles to show where the planets are in relation to the sun and stuff, we always draw it as a flat circle. We don't usually draw it as a globe. Well, I'm saying that from some perspectives, I mean, definitely the Earth on a map is flat, on a map of the solar system, right? Or would you say that two-dimensional things are not flat? See, the thing is here, David Sanderson, you never specified whether you're talking about the physical globe Earth, whether you're talking about the concept of Earth or representation of Earth on a map, or, well, there are three dimensions. I'm not denying that there are three dimensions. I'm saying that a picture of a map, a picture of the Earth on a flat map is in fact not three-dimensional. It might be drawn to look three-dimensional, but regardless, it's actually flat, you know. Such as, what's something else that's flat? Oh, I don't know. A tire that's lost all of its air. Or perhaps a top and a 50s haircut. And what could be flatter than that? Well, I mean, the point is, David Sanderson, if anything can be comprised, if anything can be called flat, then certainly the picture of the Earth on a two-dimensional map would be called flat. Now, Jeff Shaw would point out there are 4 dimensions because you can't forget about old time, can you? I don't really think time's a dimension, though, frankly. Certainly not a physical dimension. It's a vector. I don't really think it's a dimension. Maybe you could call it a dimension, I guess. How about we call it an honorary mention dimension? If you take the highest peak and lowest depths into account with the scale of the Earth, you strength the Earth to the size of a baseball, will be smoother than a cue ball. Look, if you average out all the highest spots of Earth and all the lowest spots of Earth, you get 0. That means Earth is flat. Pretty straightforward. It's as flat as Earth can get. I mean, come on. We know Earth is flat because if it were round, it would roll too much. Nobody wants to live somewhere that's rolling all the time, right? Obviously, David Sanderson. David Sanderson thinks it'd be a fun idea to live on top of something that's constantly rolling. Great idea, David Sanderson. That's my dismissive. That's my best argument, okay? Dag. Hey, look, it's Adrian B. Adrian B. Adrian B. Adrian B. What do you see, Adrian B? Do you see me now that you're Adrian B? Adrian B. Adrian B. What will you be when you grow up to see Adrian B? Adrian B. Adrian B. It's descriptive, not prescriptive. Prescriptive, not descriptive. Clearly, living on a ball is a pain in the rear, but those with their heads in the sand are merely avoiding having their heads crushed. Fair enough. I'd say you win the point. The Earth is round after all. That warrant right there was sufficient to convince me. Because I was wrong this whole time. I always thought if I had the right place to stand, I could throw the Earth like a frisbee and play catch with another supergiant if they had a good place to stand too. And I was trying to figure out where we would stand. I figured that maybe like I could stand on like maybe Saturn and they could stand on Jupiter. But if we're that big enough to throw a flat Earth like a frisbee, then we're probably too big to stand on those planets even. Plus, I'm not sure that Jupiter really has a hard part to stand on. It seems to be a lot of gases, you know, a lot of gaseous gas. So that's what I've been thinking about a lot. But now that you convinced me the Earth is round, I'm gonna have to think about something else, I guess. Are you sure the Earth isn't square? A cube? Could it be a cube, maybe? It feels kind of like a cube when I stand on it. The bottom of my feet say cube. Do we have any evidence that it's not a cube? Anybody? No? Probably it's a cube then. Or a pyramid. The real question is, will we have buttholes in heaven? Will be nothing but buttholes in heaven. New group. It's nothing but buttholes. Does anyone else have any irrational fear of Jupiter? There's nothing irrational about your fear of Jupiter, Dr. Moji. Jupiter has it out for us all. Jupiter is a sentient being that's hungry for human flesh. The only thing protecting it from its ravenous maw is the fact that it's stuck in an orbit around the sun. Please stop. Please stop placing you into somebody's ravenous maw. Okay, fine. I will. Everybody stop eating Dr. Logi. He said no more placement of ravenous maws for him. And I don't believe anybody here can reliably ascertain that their maw is not ravenous. Simply saying my maw is merely hungry is not going to cut it. It's too narrow a distinction. Oh. If you walk in one direction, I will keep walking until I get tired. Probably not, Dave Sanderson. I'm guessing if I keep walking in one direction, I'll stop well before I'm tired. It reminds me of Alan Watts. If Alan Watts had a butthole fascination. If, who do you think indoctrinated me in butthole fascination? It was Alan Watts. I went to his butthole symposium in 1969, and it was absolutely spectacular. I'm making urine, Jeff Shaw. I'm urinating in my urine bucket. If you're deeply frightened of urine, then be aware, because there's a urine bucket near me. And I don't think anyone wants it to have their name written all over it. Oh. That's better. Okay. That red spot is kind of ominous looking. Do you think it's blood? ENTP or ESTP? Can't seem to make a decision. You're probably ESTP then. It can be difficult to tell apart a little bit. Somebody the other day asked me the amusing question of if I didn't think maybe my daughter was an ENTP. So it's amusing to me because I spent quite some time trying to fight that she was an ESTP, not an ESFP. And everyone historically has said, no, of course she's not a thinker because she's, I guess, an attractive girl or something. I don't know. Or because, Eric, you're too biased. So she must be an ESFP because you're so biased that if she were, then you wouldn't acknowledge it or something. But she's definitely an ESTP. I look like Dave Matthews. Well, fortunately, I don't have Dave Matthews's aesthetic intuition. Well, like what does one do with that statement? Rachel's prettier than Delilah. So who am I throwing under the bus here? Let's see. I'm gonna just say nothing about that, I guess. Yeah, Rachel's 35. Delilah is 22, I believe. There you go, Karma's Pimp. obviously, for selfish reasons, it matters more to me that Rachel be attractive, I guess, because of obvious reasons. Then that's an attractiveness I get to enjoy directly. But I feel like a very lucky man with Rachel in general. We have a very happy life together and a very good and active, intimate time thing, which is nice. You're 33 and you thought Rachel would be younger than you? No, Rachel's not younger than you. She's pretty young looking for her age, that's for sure. And like I said, it's something that I like, obviously. But I digress. New groove. Is that what you're doing, David Sanderson? Imagine if you're a girl and an older woman is said to be prettier than this thing. I mean, the thing is, I think people care too much about age and stuff in general. Like, it is not the case necessarily that the only kind of attractive women are young women. It's absolutely not the case. So, I don't like the general sort of reduction of people based on in general. So I tend to resist sort of classifying people as inherently more or less because of some It just makes me feel like filthy. Makes me feel filthy. Like a dive in the sewer would. Well, that's true. It's like I've found plenty of people attractive in my life, and they've come in all different shapes and sizes and ages and stuff, I mean, I've never dated anybody as much younger than me as Rachel is. For my last relationship, she was the same age as me. But it really is not about age, it's about the person. David Sanderson and I? No. Rachel and I. My eyes see over there and they just say what they see, I guess. Rachel and I are extremely compatible, really well matched. And that's, doesn't seem to have much of anything to do with age. We have a lot of commonalities in terms of taste and stuff and habits and preferences and how we like to live and so forth and what we prioritize. And that ultimately is a more important set of factors than anything physical ever could be. Somebody earlier today tried to talk some smack about Rachel's physique, and the fact is, Rachel has, yes, put on a few pounds since she first came out to California, but I don't find her any less sexy or attractive at all. And I don't care at all. Age is just a number. Eric is barred from watching anime and making immature jokes. He's 50 years old. This has to stop. It's time for you to grow up, young man. You grow up and you marry Liza Minnelli right now. I don't want to marry Liza Minnelli. You have to. Okay? Everybody has to marry Liza Minnelli. Everybody knows that. Yeah. It's fine to round up. I round up all the time. I always refer to myself as 50, Jail is just a room with extra strong protective walls. The most important factor is the integumentary, and that is the bag we live in. And the fucking starfish is the balloon knot that binds. Tell you a bedtime story? I think I will probably tell a bit of a bedtime story. Maybe I will edit this to make it 18 and over. And then I'll tell a bedtime story. I'm kind of tired right now. I can almost go to bed right now, though. I appreciate it, Jeff Shaw. Thanks for your positive regard. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to try to go to sleep and get a good night's sleep and wake up in the morning refreshed, renewed, invigorated, and so forth. Good night, everybody. Love you all. See you tomorrow.